Dating nowadays, it's not made for the weak. It just really isn't. Hey guys, it's your girl Tashana and welcome to my very first Tea Talk series where I will be discussing everything and anything, like nothing is off limits on this Tea Talk series about dating and relationships. So make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel, turn that notification bell on so you guys will not miss an episode. Let's talk first dates. So I haven't been on much dates since I've been single, more just like I would say hanging out with people that I already know and just kind of slowly putting myself back out there. But before my last relationship, when I was dating, okay, let's break it down. When it comes to first dates, I am a big believer on the guy should pay, especially if you asked me out. And it's funny because I posted a reel about this on my Instagram where I said, if you ask me out on a date, you should pay for my meal. That's just the way I see it. There should be no 50-50. There should be no, okay, you got it this time, I got it. No, you're paying for my meal because you asked me out. Even if it's not a first date, if you ever ask me out as a guy, I'm expecting you to take the bill. And I know a lot of men, I know a lot of guys, I've been with guys like this too, where regardless, even if I ask them out or they ask me out, whenever we go out, they just have the bill. That's their mindset, that's their mentality, that's how they are. And I love that. Like, I love men who just want to always pay the bill. But don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean I'm broke, doesn't mean I'm cheap, doesn't mean that I need a guy that's gonna provide for me and give me all these things and buy me belts and this and that and saying that I'm materialistic. No, because I had a few people on my Instagram post of that video telling me how I'm cheap and how women always want to have equality, but then they don't want to pay for their own meal. That is one thing that makes no sense to me. I don't understand how people can put equality with paying for a date. Those two things are irrelevant. A woman who wants to have equal rights to a man has nothing, let's be clear, nothing to do with a man paying for her meal. And because I expect a man to pay for a meal who has asked me out on a date does not make me a cheap person. Any guy who knows me or who has been with me or whatever the case may be knows that I'm not a cheap person. Like, if I'm with you, I will spend money on dates if I want to. I will spoil you, I will treat you well if you deserve it, if you treat me well. You know, it's a reciprocal, like, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. But in a first date situation, I strongly believe as a guy, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to show the girl that, all right, I am a gentleman, I got you. Like, you want to make that girl have a good first impression on you, because literally if the first date goes bad, the girl's not gonna call you back. The girl doesn't want anything to do with you. A lot of the times it's like you have that first impression, that first little slot, and if you don't make it work, next. So that's when I think, like, when it comes to a guy, it's really not that hard to impress a girl. A lot of the time it just takes thought and effort into the date. I had one guy I remember, and it's so memorable to me because it was so thoughtful, these gestures. We were talking a little bit, whatever, and then he asked me out. I think it was to dinner. Yes, whatever. He asked me out to dinner, and I was like, okay, cool, sure, whatever. He came to pick me up. Now, guys, like, to me, picking me up is, like, that is step one. Tick off the box, you're on to a good start. I know for some people, they don't want to be picked up because of, you know, the whole safety issues, or they don't feel comfortable. That is fine, that is cool. I am like that too with some people, especially if I meet you, like, on an app. I don't feel comfortable all the time. I remember back when I was, like, on these dating apps like Tinder, and a guy would come pick me up for a date, I would literally give them the address, like, a couple of houses down from my house. So they would have to pass my house, and as I would walk up to their car, I would be taking pictures of, like, their license plate and sending it to one of my girls, so, like, if anything happens, they have the guy's license plate, you know? So, like, I don't play either about my safety. So I know some people, they're not comfortable with that. But in situations where I'm like, okay, I will drive myself, just because if the date's going really bad, I don't want to have to rely on you to drop me back home. I want to be able to get my own car and just avoid any awkward conversation on the ride back home, you know? So sometimes I would drive, but at least the person offered to pick me up. Like, that offer in itself is like, oh, okay, you're doing good, check mark. At least I have the option to accept or decline. Back to my story. So he picked me up at my house, and this was someone that I trusted. So he actually picked me up at my direct address. He walked up to my front door, didn't ring my doorbell, just texted me letting me know that he's outside. And I was like, whoa, okay, usually the guy's like in the car and I just have to walk into the car, you know. He opened my car door, none of that like click click, the door's open. Like, no, he actually opened my car door, went into the car, and he gave me a single rose that was purple because he knew my favorite color was purple. And I was just like, damn, like the thoughtfulness that went into this, it was so simple. It was literally just a single rose. It wasn't a bouquet of rose. It wasn't anything over the top in my opinion. It wasn't a basic red rose. I could tell like there was thought that went into it because it was purple. He remembered my favorite color was purple. And we went to like a basic sports bar or whatever, had a great time, walked around, didn't try to kiss me because for me, like honestly, if you kind of like push upon me and try to have me kiss you on the first night, it's a hit or miss. And like when I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable situation, like I might like back off. Or sometimes if I'm like kind of intoxicated and drunk, I might make the move, especially if I feel like the vibe is all good and everything. But I like when guys kind of, they don't push the first date. That's just me. If that's like you too as well, ladies, let me know. If you're someone that's just like, nah, I'm all in, like sex on the first night, I'm not judging you either because I'm not gonna say it, I have family that watch this. And like I even have other dates with other guys that to me it stays with me for how memorable it was because they took the initiative, you know, like they called the restaurants, they made the reservations, they came to pick me up, the conversations that we had. Even if these guys didn't look physically the part, because you know, especially when you're dating online, it's hard. Like people will tell you they look one way and then when you see them in person you're like, what? I remember one guy, he literally was, I'm not even lying, up to my shoulders. I'm a tall girl, like I'm 5'9", and I guess I got the impression that we were like the same height. And when he picked me up, I couldn't tell the way he was sitting in the car because his car seat was I did not mean to say a car seat. He is not a baby. The driver's seat was, I guess, a little elevated, so it didn't look like he was short. But when the guy got out the car now, I was just like, oh, you're short. I don't mind dating someone that's my height, but when you're shorter than me, like I can pet your head short, that's when it's a no for me. Like I'm not trying to insult short guys, but I just like someone that's tall. I don't mind if I'm wearing heels and I'm slightly taller than you or the same height as you. Okay, that's fine, I'll deal with that. Like I'm not always in heels. But on a regular basis, it just makes me feel uncomfortable because honestly, I'm not 1000% comfortable with my height, in all honesty. I do still feel a little like subconscious when it comes to it, like, oh my god, I'm so tall. So that wasn't my cup of tea at all. I literally was walking on the street while he was walking on the sidewalk, so the little height in the sidewalk can compensate for our height differences. Like that's how subconscious I was back then about my height. But then even though he was so short, we still had a really good time. He was still a gentleman. He paid for the meal, we had good conversations, we enjoyed each other's company, and then obviously his height just really wasn't working for me, so nothing really transpired beyond that. But then I have the flip side of first dates where I have guys who literally ask me to come pick them up. You really have the audacity to ask me to come pick you up? I'm not even your girlfriend. We haven't been talking to each other, seeing each other for a while. This is our first time meeting or our first time going on a date, and you are literally going to ask me to come pick you up? Call yourself an Uber. Like literally call yourself an Uber or take the bus. Maybe if the date goes well, I'll bring you home, but to ask me to pick you up, that to me is a bit like, it's a turn off. It's a big turn off. So just giving you guys those different contrasts in situation, it really does amaze me how some guys can go like above and beyond. Like I've had guys go like way over the top and it's a bit too much in the beginning because I don't really know you. And then I have some guys who do just enough to show that they're interested. They put in enough effort. They show that they actually want to make a good impression on you. And then I have guys who just don't really give two F's, excuse my language, about the situation, and I don't even know why they asked me out on a date in the first place. So I don't really understand how there's such a huge gap difference between first dates and this misconception of what a first date should be. Because honestly, I think, in my opinion, first dates are pretty black and white. What are your intentions with this person? If you just want to smash that person, then okay, I get it. You're not going to put much time and effort. You're not probably going to spend much money on this person, especially if you don't make a lot of money. If you do make a lot of money, there's some guys who want to flash their money and show their money off and take you to these fancy, expensive restaurants or have these really high, expensive bills because they think at the end of the night, you know, they're going to get something because they took you out. It's the same thing that kind of happens in clubs. And ladies, I know you guys can relate. Let me know in the comment box below. Where you're in a club, a guy buys you a $10 drink plus $2 tip, and they think they own you. They think you are theirs for that entire night, or you should give them a kiss, head, sex because they bought you a $10 drink. Some guys really do think if they buy you a meal, then you gotta bust those legs wide open at the end of the night. But on the flip side, if you have good intentions, if you want to date this person or potentially see how far this can go and what can it develop into, then you're gonna want to put your best foot forward. As I mentioned, you're gonna want to offer to pick them up. Even if you don't have a car, I feel like that is not an excuse. You can order an Uber. I've had guys actually order an Uber to my house to have them pick me up, or they did like that double trip Uber where the Uber picks the guy up and then the Uber picks me up. But in my opinion, that is step one. Offering to pick them up. Step two, thoughtfully plan the date. Yes, you can do the basic generic movie and a dinner, but you can really actually be more creative. Think of something outside of the box. The fact that you're thinking of something more creative than the basic generic typical first date will resonate very well with a girl. I feel like a girl will be very impressed at, wow, this guy really thought about a different kind of date, especially if it relates to the personality of the girl. Because obviously when you're asking out a girl on a first date, you kind of have an idea of who she is, what she likes, and if you don't, then you ask questions about what she likes, so you kind of get an idea of, okay, what kind of first date am I going to plan for her. Make sure over the date you guys are engaging in conversation, you're getting to know her, you're showing her interest, you're not coming off too pushy, but you're coming off as, you know, you like her. Throwing a compliment here or there, you know, don't gotta be all like, damn, you look sexy, or like, you know, anything over the top. Just, wow, you look really beautiful today, or oh my god, wow, you look good. Just something really flattering that makes the girl feel good. Make her feel like you're interested. Make her know that chivalry isn't dead and that you're putting in effort and thought into the date, because that will make all of the difference. Once you kind of get in the vibe off of the girl, sometimes the girl's gonna be vibing with you and you're gonna know like, wow, this girl's really into me, or okay, she's really not into it. Don't push. Don't try to ask for a second date, because clearly the first date didn't go well, and chances are the second date probably won't go that well either. But it honestly is not hard, and this is what amazes me. When a guy has an interest in a girl and there's no effort, it's like, what did you think was gonna come out of this? What are you aiming for? Like, make it make sense. So if you guys agree with anything that I'm saying in this video, then definitely just drop them in the comment box below. If not, drop in the comment box below regardless. I definitely will be back with more tea talks where we talk about different relationship and dating topics with other people as well. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, check me out on Instagram, click that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.